the I'll be recording this discussion for the purpose of asynchronous learning. Like for example, Sir Algie is not around, so para pagbalik niya ay meron siyang re-reviewin na lecture, no? Nag-agree ba ang lahat na okay lang na i-record ko yung ating discussion? Pa-thumbs up nga po sa mga nag-agree. Maraming salamat po. Kasi the reason why I'm asking for your permission, once I upload the video, pwede kayong makita sa recorded video, pwede makita yung mga beautiful and handsome faces ninyo. Baka kasuhan nyo ako ng Data Privacy Act, sabihin nyo hindi ko pinagpaalam. So pinagpapaalam ko po sa inyo na i-record ko po yung ating discussion for the purpose of asynchronous learning. No? This is the actual lecture. While you are listening to my lecture, this is what we call synchronous learning. So I'll continue. As a method of mixed method research, it focuses on collecting, analyzing, and mixing. As the term implies, mixed method, it's going to mix both quantitative and qualitative data in a single study or series of studies. Pag sinabing series of studies, mixed method may employ phases, phase 1 or phase 2. Its central premise is that the use of quantitative and qualitative approaches in combination provides a better understanding of research problems than either approach alone. But I'm not saying that quantitative design alone is not good and qualitative research design alone is bad. No, but the combination of both, can provide better understanding of the data that you will be presenting. That's the purpose of mixed method research design. So what are the characteristics of mixed methods research? One, you collect and analyze both quantitative and qualitative data, which would mean that you should have a better grasp or a better understanding of both quantitative and qualitative data, because it will mix two forms of data in different ways. Your data collection for quantitative will be different for qualitative. In the same manner, your data analysis and interpretation of quantitative will be different from qualitative data. It can be in a single study or in multiple phases of a study. Yun ang sinasabi ko kanina, na pwedeng phase 1 mo, quanti, and then phase 2, quali. Kaya ka naging mixed, or vice versa. And those combination can be found in a single study. Clear po ba tayo so far? Thumbs up nga po kung clear sa definition ng ating mixed method and the characteristics of mixed method. Very good. Salamat po sa mga nag-thumbs up. So what are the strengths and weaknesses of quanti and quali? Actually, we've been mentioning this before. When we say quantitative, our goal is to test the hypothesis, because at the end of our research paper, we would like to generalize. We would like to come up with a conclusion that is acceptable to a large sample size. So therefore, the requirement for a quantitative research would be a large sample size. Hindi pwedeng konti lang. That's why meron tinatawag na computation of sample size. Traditionally, you may use the Sloven's formula. But if you are technologically oriented, kita ko naman, mga mukha pa kayo mga 21, mukha pa mga 13 years old, 14, babata pa. So mga na pa to, Generation Z, hindi millennial ha. So I think you can relate with me when I say G power. Ayan. Yan ang mga millennial way in computing for the sample size, G power, or tinatawag na row-soft sampling design. These are online and technologically oriented systems that will facilitate in the computation of your sample size. Actually, may Google kayo. Later on, pwede niyong i-research yan. G-Power, and Rosoft. No? Marami pang iba actually. And then for qualitative, this is the difference between quanti and quali. When you say qualitative, you may only involve a small sample, but the analysis would be detailed, and in-depth analysis. Kaya mamaya makikita nyo sa mixed method na meron kang combination ng quantitative presentation and meron ka rin presentation ng qualitative presentation. How to do that? Later on. Marami po tayong designs. Kaya very exciting. To me, I find mixed method research as a very exciting design. No? But of course, ang tanong ngayon, which is better? Quanti, quali, or mixed? It will always depend on the kind of problem that you will be encountering. Di ba yung sinabi natin, yung mga spots na favorite ninyo, blind spots and blank spots. Tapos yung gagamitin sa sampling size, G-Power. O baka mamaya mapaghalo-halo nyo yung G-Power tsaka yung mga spots, baka mag-merge, magkaroon kayo ng another word. So those are the differences between quantitative and qualitative research designs. So why use mixed method? What are the reasons why we need to use mixed method? One data resource may not be enough. Parang upon gathering quantitative or qualitative data, parang you are not yet satisfied with the data that you were able to gather. So therefore, you would like to use another design, no? Or mix another design. Or the initial results need to be further explained. Example, your studies about the performances of the students during the pandemic. And then you found out, for example, in the quantitative result, that their performances are really very low. They got very low reading comprehension. They got very low performances, for example, in mathematics, science, and they find it difficult to perform physical activities using the modular approach. So those are initial findings, and you need to explain why. There are reasons why those low performances are happening. So pwede mong gawa ng mixed method. So kung meron kang quanti, mag-explain ka ngayon through quali. Or for example, teachers now are very stressed. Or upon determining the mental health status of the teachers and parents, you found out that they are mentally stressed. But you need to explain why. What are the reasons why they are stressed? O, that can be explained using qualitative. Doon papasok ngayon yung mixture. Or a second method is needed to enhance a primary method, and the project has multi-phases. So these are the reasons why you will use mixed method. If you would like to expound, if you would like to further explain the primary data that you were able to gather, and you think that there are other reasons, that there are valid reasons why those data are presented, then you can use a mixed method research design. So how to choose an appropriate mixed method design? Kasi there are several mixed method designs. Just like quantitative, marami rin ang quantitative, di ba? Merong descriptive, merong experimental, merong action research, etc., etc. So how to choose an appropriate mixed method? There is a level of interaction between two strands. What are the two strands? Independent or interactive. Ibig sabihin, yung mga variables mo, the independent variables, there are possible interacting variables. Ibig sabihin, variables that may be explaining, that may need explanation from the respondents, no? Or there is what you call relative priority. Pag sinabi natin relative priority, equal or unequal priority. Example, sa data mo, may nakita ka na parang very alarming and you would like to prioritize the explanation of those alarming data, then you can do a mixed method. Halimbawa, leadership style, ang topic mo. And then part of the leadership style, for example, of the instrument that you were able to download is leading the school by improving the physical infrastructure. And then you found out in your study that there are principals or school heads who are allotting budget for physical infrastructure. Tapos, hindi ka na-satisfy. Parang you were wondering why despite the pandemic, the principals or the school heads are allocating budget or improving the physical infrastructure of the school, while students are not coming to school, are not going to school. Instead, they are at home. Parang ganon. So you need to prioritize those data, those quantitative data. So therefore, pwede kang gumamit ngayon ng mixed method. No? O kaya naman, if you are using modular approaches and your students are not submitting their modules on time, because I heard parang weekly teachers are collecting the outputs, no, to be graded, and there are two criteria that are now being utilized by teachers: written output and task performance. Tama po ba yon? Parang ganon. And then you were wondering why after evaluation, students are failing. So you may try to prioritize those students who are failing, and you may ask the reasons why they are failing. Parang you already have the data that there are students who are failing. And that can be explained by qualitative. Ano yung qualitative? You will find out the reasons why they are failing. Pwede sabihin sa inyo na, kasi po tinatamad na ako mag-aral kasi puro modules lang po kami. Gusto ko teacher nagtuturo sa amin. O kaya na, pwede sabihin sa iyo na, ang gusto ko magturo sa amin, teacher namin, kasi yung mami at daddy namin, lagi kami pinapalo kapag hindi kami natututo. Kasi syempre, iba yung pasensya ng parents, iba yung pasensya ng teacher, di ba? Sa bahay, hindi naman sanay ang mga parents na nagtuturo talaga sa mga anak nila or guardian. Kaya nga, di ba, mayroong mga memes sa Facebook na ang mga ngayon, ang mga nagko-compete na ngayon, yung mga guardians, yung mga parents, yung mga kuya, ate, yung mga relatives, kasi sila ngayon ang busy-busy na sumasagot ng mga ng mga modules. So for those who are failing in the modular approach, you may explain now. You may prioritize those students who are failing. Or pwedeng pwedeng extremes. Merong failing at meron din namang superb at excellent ang kanilang performance. Tapos, makikita mo sa previous performance nila, hindi naman sila excellent. Halimbawa, nung face-to-face pa, hindi naman ganun kagagaling ang performance nila. Pero ngayong modular or pandemic, naging excellent. Nako po, i-prioritize mo yan, tanungin mo kung paano niya nagawa yon. Vice versa naman, yung mga dating excellent, ngayon, failing. Mabababa yung grades. So ang tawag doon ay mga relative priority. Kaya yung mga data natin, quantitatively, pag-aaralan at pag-iisipan natin yan Tatanungin natin, are these data really valid? And that's the time that we will use mixed method. Kaya ang mixed method hindi basta-basta ginagamit. It will always depend on the quantitative data or what kind of data we gather. If you would like to further investigate or to further analyze the initial result of our findings, then we can use mixed method. Kaya nga tawag dito ay multiphasic. Pwede kang gumamit ng two phases. Pwedeng quanti muna and then quali naman. Or vice versa. Nag-quali ka muna and then saka ka nag-quanti. No? Mamaya, malalaman niyo yung mga different designs. Does it make sense so far? Yung pinapaliwanag ko. Paki-thumbs up nga po if it makes sense sa inyo. Nalilinawan po ba kayo? Ayan. Ay, maraming salamat sa mga nagka-thumbs up. Salamat po. All right. So, the timing can be concurrent, sabihin, pwedeng sequential, or combination of those two. Where or how to mix the strands, that is what you call the point of interface. The point of interface is where you mix the quantitative and qualitative. Mamaya, mas maiintindihan nyo yung point of interface natin. Pero these are what we call considerations or requirements in using mixed method design. All right? So, yan. So, the point of interface is where the two strands are mixed, or what we call possible point of interfaces. One, data collection. During data collection, we use quanti or quali results build to the subsequent collection of qualitative or quantitative data. Ibig sabihin, nag-quanti or quali ka muna, and then binild up mo siya, yung result niya, and then saka ka nagkaroon ng subsequent collection. No? So, pwedeng quanti muna, inanalyze mo, and then nag-quali ka. Or nag-qualitative ka muna, inanalyze mo, and then nag-quanti ka. Ang tawag doon, data analysis. And then after that, after you mix those quanti and quali, after the point of interface, that's the time that you make interpretation. Pag sinabi natin interpretation, comparing or combining results from both methods. Kaya napakaganda talaga ng quanti. And to me, hindi ko sinasabing dapat ito ang gamitin ninyo, pero it would always depend on the type of data that you have. No? Kaya sa ano pa lang, sa data gathering pa lang, for example, ng quanti, magkakaroon na tayo ng presentation, initial presentation, sa mga nakapag-proposal na. Tapos, ipipresent nyo sa atin, dito sa ating platform, ako magsasabi sa inyo kung pwedeng ituloy ng mixed or not. Or kayo na mismo, based sa ating mga discussions ngayon, you can already recommend to me na, sir, parang I'd like to delve more on this data because parang this data need more explanation. This data need more exploration. Doon tayo magkakaroon ng mixed method. Ang lesson of the day, mixed method, hindi kagad siya ina-identify. Depende yon sa first phase ng iyong data collection. Alright? Example, similar results from different perspectives. Collect data on quantitative instrument and qualitative data based on focus groups. Kaya magkaiba ang data collection mo ng quanti and quali. Kaya parang gumagawa ka ng dalawang research, isang quanti and quali. But take note that there is an interface, there is a point of interface. Hindi siya magkahiwalay. Pag sinabi ko magkahiwalay, in the sense na you do first a quantitative data using a standardized instrument, and then from the data collection, you will analyze further the result of the quantitative by doing a focus group discussion, and that is what you call qualitative data collection. Clear po ba yon? And then you collect quantitative data first and follow it up with interviews to help explain their outcomes from quantitative data. Lesson, again, tip, Huwag kalilimutan na kapag nag-second phase kayo, hindi pwedeng detach ang second phase ninyo sa first phase ninyo. Ang ikukwali nyo, for example, ay related sa quantity. Yun nga yung sinasabi ko kanina. May mga teachers na, for example, na bumaba ang performance, teachers' performance ngayong pandemic. Yun ang magandang i-explain. Kasi nung face-to-face, ay matataas ang kanilang evaluation. Pero pagdating ngayong pandemic, bumaba. So dapat yan magkaroon ng paliwanag kasi dating outstanding teacher eh. Tapos ngayon naging satisfactory na lang. Bakit kaya ganun? May mga reasons 'yun. So pwede kang magkaroon ng interview. Pero ang i-interviewin mo lang sa qualitative, yung mga teachers na dating matataas ang performance tapos ngayon bumaba. Therefore, pag sinabing quantity, malaki ang population mo, ang sample size mo, pag quali, medyo liliit na. Bakit? Sila na yung mga nasa outliers. Ang tawag doon, outliers. Ibig sabihin, ito na yung mga teachers na nahiwalay from the norm. Halimbawa, karamihan, 4 ang nakuha. Pero meron mga 10 teachers na parang naging 3.2, naging 3.4. So yun na lang ngayon ang respondents mo sa qualitative mo. So therefore, the respondents of the qualitative group that will be involved in the focus group discussion will be culled, will be taken from the quantitative group. Ang pinagkaiba lang, konti na lang ngayon kasi sila yung mga outliers na lang. They will further explain the significant findings of the study or the outliers of the study. Parang ganun din sa students' performance. Yung mga sobrang bababa na grade at sobrang tataas na grade, ipapa-explain natin yon. Or noong wala pang pandemic, ay talaga namang active sa school. Pero ngayong pandemic na, biglang nag-drop. In the middle of the pandemic classes or school year, nag-drop. Ang tawag doon, outliers yon. Yun ang mga dapat ma-explain natin kung bakit sila nag-drop out. Did you get the point? Yun ang maganda sa mixed method. May explain ngayon ng actual, ang tawag natin doon ngayon, hindi na respondents. Kung sa quantitative, ang tawag natin sa kanila ay respondents, ngayon ang tawag na natin sa kanila ay key informants. Kaya magkaiba ang term na ginagamit natin sa quantitative and qualitative. They are now our key informants that are going to be involved in the focus group discussion. No? So that's an example of mixed method. And then you use interviews to explore, to explore how individuals describe a topic and use the findings to develop quantitative data collection instrument. Ito naman yung kabaligtaran kanina. Kung kanina, nauna yung quantitative mo bago qualitative, ito naman baligtad. Gumawa ka muna ng qualitative questions, gumawa ka muna ng qualitative data collection, and then from qualitative data collection, you develop a quantitative data collection, and nakapag-develop ka pa ng instrument mo out of qualitative. So ibig sabihin pala, pwede kang makadevelop ng instrument out of your interview. Ang magiging laman ng instrument mo, kung talagang walang available na literature, ay pwedeng manggaling sa mga respondents mo. No? So yun ang advantage ng mixed method. Kung gusto mong gumawa o mag-develop ng isang instrument na hindi available sa literature, pwede kang gumamit ngayon ng mixed method para makapag-develop ka ng instrument mo. So ibig sabihin, kapag after searching the literature and you weren't able to find out any, you weren't able to identify any related instrument to your topic, to your study, then that's not the end of the world. You can use mixed method so that you can come up with your own instrument based on exploration. No? So yung exploration mo na yon, mag-i-interview ka ng individuals, yung mga sasabihin nila, yun ngayon ang ilalagay mo doon sa instrument ng quantitative study mo. So that is what you call mixed method. May naidadagdag ba sa knowledge ninyo o dati nyo na itong alam? Pwede bang malaman? Pa-thumbs up nga po kung may nadadagdag sa knowledge o dati nyo na itong alam. Kahit nung elementary pa lang kayo, alam nyo na to. Kasi ang gusto ko may bago namang nadadagdag. Okay, karamihan thumbs up. Ibig sabihin may mga bagong nadadagdag. I'm happy. I'm happier kasi pa nagle-lecture ako tapos yung mga nakikinig ay may bagong na di-discover. Ayoko kasi yung paulit-ulit lang tapos yun at yun din yung alam nila. I'm happy. Bago yung na-share ko sa inyo. Now we will proceed. We are now done with the basic principles, the reasons why we need to use mixed method, no, and the different approaches in using mixed method research designs. Before I proceed to the discussion of the major designs of mixed method, I'd like to entertain questions muna as regard to the different considerations, conditions, and principles in utilizing the mixed method research designs. Any clarifications? Clarifications, please. Any question? Kasi pag walang question, yes, please.
Yes, sir. Good morning po ulit.
Yes.
Sir, you have mentioned of outliers. Pag po ba outliers, sir, nabanggit nyo from group, for example, group of students, mga dropout, pag outliers po ba, yung implication nun is the negative side nung with regards to the study? Outliers po ba ang tawag doon?
I do not want to connote outliers as negative. No, outliers are these are data that are significantly apart or different from the norm.
Yes, sir.
From the norm. Siguro mamaya magpapakita ko ng sample graph kung saan makikita nyo yung sinasabi kong outliers. Na tipong upon quantitative data collection, pag tinabulate mo sila, makikita mo na merong mga, pag binar graph mo, karamihan, alam mo yung bell-shaped curve?
Yes, sir.
O karamihan nandoon. Tapos may makikita ka, nagkaroon ng space sa right, tapos meron pa naka-graph doon sa bandang right or left, pero konting-konti lang. Outliers ang tawag doon. Mamaya, meron akong example. That's a good question. And those outliers are going to be the inclusion criteria, no? Meron tayong tinatawag na inclusion criteria for the qualitative component of our mixed method. Ibig sabihin, pag nag-mixed method ka, kung gumamit ka ng 250 sa quantitative, sa quali, hindi na 250 yan. Hahanapin mo na lang yung outliers mo. Kaya pwedeng konti na lang yan. Kaya di ba sabi ko kanina, pag quanti, large sample size. Pag quali, konti na lang yan. Kaya two phases. Meron kang big sample data collection, and then you analyze, and then from the analysis, makikita mo yung outliers, makikita mo yung significant, makikita mo yung non-significant. Yun ang mga clue. Outliers, significant, non-significant. Pag nakita mo yung mga yon, yun ngayon ang magiging inclusion criteria mo. Sila isasama mo ron sa qualitative portion mo. The second phase of data collection. So that, mamaya, masyado na ako nagiging advanced tuloy. Kasi that's a design na. You will proceed to the actual design. may explain kayo lalo mamaya, Mr. Nuki, doon sa sequential explanatory design. Ayan. Nag-jump na ako doon, pero i-explain ko pa further yon. I am just sharing with you the principle. I'm just done sharing to the group the basic principle of mixed method and the considerations why we use mixed method. Kung sa quanti and quali before, ang sabi natin dati, you use quanti if there is a blind spot. Tama po ba kung natatandaan nyo po yon? And then you use quali when there is a blank spot. And then we use mixed method kapag merong combination ng quanti and quali. Pero more than that, yung binanggit ko kanina, yun ang mga reason kung bakit tayo gumagamit ng mixed method research design. Nabanggit ko na kanina yung mga, balikan nyo na lang sa video pag nag-review kayo ng video, pag in-upload ko. Alright? Mag-subscribe naman kayo sa aking YouTube channel para umabot na ako ng 4,000 watch hours. De joke lang. Alright. So, Mr. Ismael, I will expound on your question later on when we proceed to one of the designs, which is sequential explanatory research design. Okay lang po ba?
Thank you, sir.
Alright, no problem. Any more question about the principle? Kasi I'm done with the principle, the conditions, no? In utilizing mixed method research design. Wala na. So the first design is actually what we call convergent parallel design. Convergent. No? So the purpose of this design is to best understand or develop more complete understanding of the research problem by obtaining different but complementary data. And our goal, the purpose is to validate. Kaya kung makikita ninyo, pag gumawa kayo ng mixed method research design at ang inyong design is convergent parallel design, ito yung makikita nating diagram. This will be your conceptual framework or what we call, sa ibang school ang tawag nila, schematic diagram. Sa ibang school naman ang tawag nila conceptual framework, conceptual paradigm, etc., etc., etc. Kung ano man ang tawag nila doon, iisa lang ang meaning nun. Ito yun. So anong ginagawa natin sa convergent? We both do a quantitative data collection analysis and qualitative data collection analysis. Parang sabay. Sabay nating ginagawa yung yung data collection and analysis. Halimbawa, your topic is about instructional leadership style. Parang yung kila Mr. Nuki. Instructional leadership style. Tapos, meron silang instrument na ginamit about instructional leadership style during the pandemic. So, ang gagawin nila, quantitatively, i-administer nila yung kanilang instrument sa mga respondents. No? Pero yung quantitative data collection and analysis nila, pwedeng kasama ang mga teachers doon sa quantitative data collection and analysis. Pagdating sa qualitative data collection and analysis, hindi sila gagamit ng questionnaires. Gagamit sila ng guide questions. Example, how do you do or how do you implement your instructional leadership style during the pandemic time, during the pandemic? Pero ang magiging respondent na lang nila dito, syempre, the one who is implementing the instructional leadership style. So, qualitative data collection, puro school heads na lang ito or principal. Samantalang sa quantitative data collection, pwede sila mag-distribute ng questionnaire pati sa mga teachers. Mas marami. Pero dito sa qualitative, since ang nag-i-implement ng instructional leadership style during the pandemic ay mga principals lang, so iilan lang ang principal. Sa halimbawa, ang respondents nila ay isang district. Tapos sa isang district, merong 9 or 10 principals. Yun lang ang respondents nila sa qualitative. Pero sa quantitative ay maraming teachers na may involved dito. Kaya magkakaroon ka ng sample size, either G-power or row soft ang gagamitin mo. Sabay mong gagawin yun. Habang nagdi-distribute ka ng questionnaire for both principals and teachers, gumagawa ka rin ng focus group discussion or interview one-on-one with the principals para dun sa qualitative data collection and analysis. Questions such as, example, how do you perform your being leader as instructional leader during the pandemic? What are the issues or challenges that you encounter during the pandemic times? Parang ganon. What are the advantages and disadvantages of managing a school, no, during the pandemic? So meron kang guided questions. And these guide questions are going to be validated by experts. So magkakaroon ka ng tinatawag na content validation ng guide questions mo. Kasi syempre, i-check ng mga experts yan kung naka-align yung open-ended questions mo doon sa topic mo. Kung ang topic mo instructional leadership style, expert na magsasabi sa'yo kung yung question mo na yun ay valid or not. Kaya magkakaroon ka ng content validation ng guide questions mo. As the term implies, guide questions, these questions, plural, marami-rami, will guide you during the interview session. Kasi hindi pwedeng isa lang ang question mo, dapat medyo marami yan. Baka mamaya matapos ka kagad ng ng data collection, qualitative data collection, wala kang nakuha. Kasi later on, ang point of interface mo after collecting those data, you will compare, you will see the differences, or you will relate. No? Parang i-compare mo kung parehas yung nakuha mo sa quanti kaysa doon sa nakuha mo sa quali. Example, lumabas sa quanti mo na outstanding ang instructional leadership style ng mga principals during the pandemic. Pero pagdating sa qualitative, yung mga principals nag-voice out. Sinabi na nahihirapan sila during the pandemic at hindi nila ma-perform na mabuti yung function nila because of technological difficulties, na minsan wala silang internet connection, hindi sila makapag-perform ng blended learning, ng mga online learning, tapos yung mga teachers walang laptop, walang technology, etc. etc. Ang daming lumalabas. So i-compare mo ngayon doon sa quanti mo. Doon sa quantitative lumabas na puro 4.5, 4.6, 4.8, no? Parang nagre-range ng very satisfactory to outstanding. So magko-compare ka ngayon or i-relate mo ngayon. And that is what you call the point of interface. The comparison or relating. Pag sinabing comparison or relating, hindi to statistical ha, walang gagamitin na ANOVA, hindi ka magtititest. Pag sinabing relating, hindi ka magpi-Pearson R, hindi ka magko-correlation and regression. You are going to compare and relate your quantitative data vis-a-vis the qualitative data that you were able to collect. And that is what you call analyzing the quanti and quali data. And that is the point of interface. So that later on, you will have a valid interpretation. You will have a valid conclusion, no? Now that despite that the leadership, that the principals are very good in terms of their leadership style, however, they are encountering this and that and that and that and that and that. Parang ganon. Yun ngayon. Parang meron ka na ngayon mga despite, no? Or i-explain din yan kapag lumabas na parang satisfactory lang ang leadership performance ng mga principals. Kasi pala, ito yung explanation, na-explain ng quali. Kasi pala, sa school nila, kulang sa bond paper, kulang sa printer, kulang sa technology, hindi makapag-blended, no? Kaya yun ang maganda ngayon. Kaya ang principal ngayon, for example, kung ganun klaseng study mo, ay merong explanation yung quantitative data. So dito ngayon lalabas yung psychology ng buhay. Ng lahat na nangyayari, may explanation. Hindi pwedeng nangyayari ang isang bagay nang walang explanation. Kaya gustong-gusto ko ang mixed method eh. Why? Very psychological in nature. Na in everything, that everything happens for a reason. Naniniwala ba kayo doon? O kaya mixed method ang sasagot doon. Sa mga reasons, sa mga explanations. No? And one of the mixed method research design is convergent parallel design. Ang ganda, di ba? Before I move on to the next design, do you have any question about convergent? Mukhang nagbabago na isip ninyo, no? Parang gusto niyo nang gumamit ng convergent ngayon. Kasi maganda ngayon ang magiging interpretation and analysis mo kasi marami kang pagkukuwanan. At ang pagkukuwanan mo ng analysis mo and interpretation, not based on your own opinion, but based on the data that you collected, especially qualitative data that you collected from the key informants. Actually, itong qualitative data, kung ako advisor ninyo, pwede kong sabihin na hatiin natin. Kung 10, 5 principal, 5 teachers. O para balance. O kung ako talaga advisor ninyo, kukunin ninyo, pagagawin ko sigurong 15 yan. 5 principals, 5 teachers, at 5 parents. Kasi pati parents ngayon may kinalaman na sa pag-i-evaluate ng instructional leadership style ng mga heads, no? Ng principals, I mean. So that's the beauty of convergent parallel designs. Do you have any questions so far? Before I moved on to the next design, am I making sense? Mr. Sem? Okay. Okay, very good. Yung mga pagtango nila at pag-thumbs up nila, ibig sabihin, sensible yung aking mga sinasabi. Let's move on to the next design. I'm sorry, hindi pa pala. Paki-ano na lang ito, paki-picture na lang para mahanap nyo yung sample study na yan para magkaroon kayo ng idea kung paano ginamit yung convergent parallel design. Yan. Tayo ay mga millennial, no? Hindi ko kailangan tong basahin. Ang gagawin ko, yan, ibibigay ko sa inyo yan para magkaroon kayo ng idea kung paano ginagawa ang convergent parallel design. Para may sample kayo. And that can be found online. Hindi kayo mahihirapan. Hindi nyo kailangan pumunta sa library ng Dabsu. Online lang yan. I-search nyo yan. Alright? Sige. So, yan. Mga sample convergent parallel designs yan. Kung gusto nyo magbasa, yun ang magiging assignment nyo. Basa kayo ng sample para meron kayong tawag dito, template, guidance, or sample pag gagawa kayo ng convergent parallel designs. Ayan, meron pang isa. And take note that these are published mixed method research papers. Kasi nga ayoko ng mga unpublished eh. Palaging ang gusto kong ipagamit sa inyo is published. No? Kaya kung mapapansin niyo, bibihira ang meeting natin kasi more of independent study kayo eh. Pag binigyan ko kayo ng assignment, talaga magbabasa kayo. Kailangan ko kayong bigyan ng time. Pero ngayon marami kayong time kasi bakasyon na. No? Siguro by January, may enhanced na yung mga papers ninyo, no? Siguro by January, meron ng mga magsasabi sa akin na, Sir, I changed my mind. Parang gusto ko nang mag-mixed method, no? Sarap pakinggan na lahat ay gagamit na ng mixed method. At matutuwa ang Dabsu. Kasi ang Dabsu, meron silang, aminin ko sa inyo, meron silang special inclination sa mixed method. Kaya lang, kahit magkaroon ka ng special inclination sa paggawa ng mixed method, kung hindi ka naman skillful, kasi dapat pag sinabi incline ka, skillful ka din. Baka mahirapan kayo in the end. Kaya ini-explain ko to ng mabuti sa inyo. Alright. So when we say convergent parallel design, you collect and analyze two independent strands of quantitative and qualitative data at the same time in a single phase. No? So at the same time ito, while you're gathering quantitative data, you're also gathering qualitative data. And then you prioritize the methods equally. Take note of that, ha? Kasi mamaya, merong method na meron kayong ipaprioritize o unahin nyo yung quanti or quali. And then you keep the data analysis independent, mix the results during the overall interpretation, try to look for convergence, divergence, contradictions, or relationships of two sources of data. Kung saan sila nag-meet, kung saan sila naghiwalay, kung saan nagkaroon ng contradiction, at kung saan nagkaroon ng relationship when you analyze those two sets of data. Kasi possible yan na magkakaiba, na nagkaiba yung quanti sa quali. Possible yan. Possible din naman na nagkaroon sila ng point of similarity. No? Kaya ang tawag sa kanya is convergent parallel design. So the procedure. Paano ba ang procedure ng convergent? Collect both types of data concurrently, analyze two data sets separately, merge the results, and then interpret combined results. So that will be the flow chart. Kaya pa nag-discuss kayo ng methods, yan yun. Yan ang i-discuss nyo sa methods ng research ninyo. You collect both types of data concurrently, analyze two data sets separately, and then merge the results and then interpret the combined results. All right? So nabigay ko na yung definition, nabigay ko na yung design, yung diagram or paradigm, nabigay ko na rin yung flowchart or procedure. Kaya magagawa niyo na yung methods ng inyong paper, no? Kapag gumawa kayo ng IMRAD. Wag na to, masyado na to. Yung mga binanggit ko, ito sinamarize lang to. Ipapadala ko na lang siguro sa inyo to. Pero yun din yun, yung mga binanggit ko kanina, ito rin yun. Naipaliwanag ko na siya actually. So when you use convergent parallel design, in terms of research questions, you create parallel questions for the quali and quanti studies. Ibig sabihin ng parallel questions, yung quali questions ninyo ay hindi malalayo sa quanti questions ninyo. Kaya pa nagpa-validate kayo, kasama sa ipapadala ninyo yung standardized instrument ninyo. Bakit? Kasi dapat hindi nalalayo yung quali question ninyo doon sa quanti instrument ninyo. Nakuha niyo po ba yun? Pag nagpa-validate ng quali questions. Next, in terms of samples, different or same group of people in quantitative and qualitative studies, dapat same group. Yun ang binabanggit ko kanina. Dapat same group. Sample sizes, equal or unequal? Pwedeng unequal. Yun ang binabanggit ko kanina. Unequal, kasi bakit? Mas marami yung quanti sample size mo kaysa doon sa quali mo. In terms of sample, same group pa din. Kukunin mo lang yung quali mo, quali respondents mo doon sa quanti respondents mo. Alright? May question po ba so far? Wala. And then data will be collected from one source or different sources using survey, interview, or only use survey. Order of two types of data collection, survey first, then focus group or one-on-one interview. Pero using one phase lang siya. Kasi mahirap naman na habang nag-distribute ka ng online questionnaire, nagpo-focus group ka din. So survey muna and then saka ka mag-focus group. No? All right. So merge data analysis strategies, side-by-side comparison. In a results or discussion selection or a summary table. Paano yon? Paano ba yon? Yung pag nag-present na kayo ng result later on. Present quantity or quality results, followed by qualitative or quantitative results, followed by comments, describe how quality or quantitative confirm or disconfirm quantitative or quality results. So ikaw mamimili, bawa, i-present mo muna yung quantity and then followed by qualitative. Or present mo muna yung quality followed by quantitative. And then saka mo ibibigay yung mga comments, no? That will describe how the qualitative or quantitative data confirm or disconfirm those results that you have. Nakuha niyo po ba yon? Yun ang merging. The merging of the data and analysis strategies. Kaya lang dito sa convergent parallel design ay you may also joint display. Paano yung joint display? Using table or figure to show both quantity and quality results. Pag sinabing quantity, pwede kang gumamit ng tables. Pag sinabing quality, pwede kang gumamit ng mga figures. Kasi magkakaroon ka na niya ng data transformation. Data transformation, merge analysis. Transforming one type of data or qualitative into the other type of data, which is quantitative. Create a new variable based on presence of a theme and create a new variable based on number of times a theme appears. So magkakaroon ka na ng tinatawag na thematic analysis. Halimbawa, sa leadership style, punta pa rin tayo sa instructional leadership style. Lumabas doon sa qualitative data mo na ang most commonly encountered problem ng mga principals or heads ay the use of technology. So ibig sabihin, magkakaroon ka na ngayon ng theme. Theme about, for example, technology-based instruction. Kasi maraming lumabas doon sa qualitative interview mo na isa sa mga challenges nila would be the use of technology in providing instruction to the students. Kaya puro modular ang ginagawa, bibihira ang blended. So gagawa ka ngayon ng theme based on the questions, on the results of the questions. Magkakaroon ngayon ng emerging theme na during the pandemic pala, kailangan ma-strengthen ang pagiging technology-based leadership, instructional leadership. Kasi part of instruction pala ay dapat ang mga principals ay technologically oriented or technology-based ang kanilang ginagamit. So ang tawag doon ay creating a new variable based on presence of a theme. Kaya babasahin mo lahat ng qualitative. Magkakaroon ka ng thematic presentation. Tapos, yung bawat theme mo na yon, sa ilalim noon, may mga actual quotations. Ano ba yung actual quotations mo? Halimbawa, principal number 1 or subject number 1. Sasabihin niya na we can only improve our instructional leadership if we have a very good technological facilities in the school. Quote unquote. Halimbawa, yun ang sinabi ng principal. Ibig sabihin, lahat ng sinabi ng principal related sa technology, ilalagay mo sa ilalim, no? Sa ilalim ng theme na nabuo mo. Ano yung theme na nabuo mo? That for you to become an instructional leadership, For you to become an instructional leader during the pandemic times, you need to be technologically oriented, as shown by the following statements. Ano yung mga statements na yon? Quote unquote yon. Without naming the key informants, ilalagay mo ngayon yung mga quotations. Actual quotations to, ha. Kaya dito sa paggawa ng quanti and quali or mixed method, magre-record ka. Siyempre, hingi ka ng permiso, informed consent, na i-record mo yung inyong conversation. Kasi kukunin mo yung mga actual quotations nila. Kaya dapat may recorder ka rito. Pwede rin namang Zoom. Huwag mo lang ipalabas yung mukha niya. Kasi pwedeng sa defense, hanapin yung actual conversation ninyo para mapalabas na nagkaroon talaga ng actual interview. Alright? Kaya sa pagbubuo ng theme, tuturuan ko kayo next time. Pero ngayon, tinuturo ko na actually, pag sasama-samahin niyo yung magkakaparehas, alam mo, lumabas, the need for technological improvement. O ilalagay niyo yung mga sinabi ng subjects or key informants related doon sa technological improvements. Nakuha niyo po ba 'yon? That is what you call convergent parallel design and data analysis strategy. You will analyze further the qualitative data by providing themes, and take note that the themes to be developed should be coming from the focus group discussion, from the interview. Hindi kayo ang gagawa ng theme. Dapat manggagaling yung theme, galing doon sa interview ninyo. Database pa rin siya. Alright? Sige. Look for similarity and convergence and how to handle discrepancy. Kasi di ba, possible na magkakaroon ng discrepancy. Halimbawa, lumabas na ang taas ng technological leadership ng principal. Bawa, lumabas na 4.91. Edi outstanding yun. No? Now, how will you handle the discrepancy habang sinasabi ng mga teachers or ng mga parents or ng mga principals na sila ay limited pagdating sa technology? Anong gagawin doon? Unang-una, you state the limitations of the study. No? How will you state the limitations of the study? Pwede mong sabihin na the school respondents are not yet technologically equipped. Siyempre, di mo babanggitin yung pangalan ng school kasi kawawa naman madadrag yung pangalan. Pwede mo sabihin yung current state of technological facilities. No? Kasi pwede na sinagot ng mga respondents na outstanding kasi laging sinasabi ng mga principal, mag-aral kayo ng paggawa ng mga online resources, gumamit kayo ng blended learning, o baka kasama sa inset yung paggamit ng Google Meet, paggamit ng Zoom. Pero sa reality, hindi naman nagagawa. Kaya nangyari, mataas yung evaluation sa principal kasi may mga inset, pero sa reality, hindi naman nangyayari at di naman talaga available. So that is what you call limitation. Kaya nagkaroon ng discrepancy. Nangyayari yon, Madam Principal. Tama ba ako, Madam Martin? Yes, di ba? Sa inset, makikita mo. Tapos makikita mo pati, even yung budget na nilabas ng presidente ngayon, biggest budget goes to the Department of Education. Bakit? Para sa mga technological innovations daw. Pero try mong bisitahin ng school. Lalo yung mga small schools. Hindi, kahit nga big schools hindi ganun ka technologically equipped yun ang tinatawag na limitation ng study. No? Now, while the Department of Education is espousing on ICT utilization, however, in reality, the technological equipments are still limited in the site, in the school. Even the internet connection. No? Pwede niyo sabihin na even the internet connections of both parents and teachers are limited. No? may mga nababalitaan ako na yung mga teachers, sila mismo ay medyo nahihirapan kapag nagbe-blended na sa mga estudyante. Kasi meron mga schools, meron mga special section ba 'yon? Anong tawag niyo ron, Madam Principal? SSE, mga special...
SSES po.
Bakit SSES?
Special Science Education po.
Yun, meron mga SSES na hindi purely modular nagbe-blended sila May screen time sila, mga thrice a week, tapos mga 1 to 2 hours. Pero minsan yung teacher grappling. Bakit ko sinabing nahihirapan minsan? Kasi sila mismo walang internet connection sa bahay. Sila mismo walang masyadong magandang laptop. Though yung laptop nila medyo 30 years old na. Tapos sila mismo, for example, gustong gumamit ng Zoom, walang Zoom subscription. Tipong every 40 minutes or 1 hour napuputol, di ba? Pag wala kang subscription, napuputol 'yon. Or minsan Google Meet nagkakaproblema din, etc. etc. So marami kayong makukuha and dapat manggaling sa kanila 'yon. And those are what we call limitations of the study. And then you revisit the two types of data. Kasi pag nagkaroon ng discrepancy, those discrepancies in the quantitative can be further explained by the qualitative. And how to handle? You should be able to collect additional data that will explain the discrepancy. Take note, hindi kayo mismo ang mag-i-explain, hindi sarili nyo. Take note na nakalagay dyan, no? Collect additional data. Not from yourself, but from the key informants kapag nagkaroon ng discrepancy. Kasi dapat sa research ninyo ay palaging harmonious. May harmony yung quanti and quali. Dapat. Pero hindi may iwasan na magkakaroon ng discrepancy. Walang problema. Pero you should be able to explain the discrepancy. And that is what you call convergent parallel designs. Naku, convergent parallel designs pa lang, ang haba na, no? So what are the challenges? Needs both quanti and quali expertise. Ibig sabihin, hindi lang marunong, expert ka sa quanti at expert ka rin sa quali. No? Consequences of having different samples and different sample size when merging two data sets. Kasi sabi ko nga sa inyo kanina na pwedeng malaki yung quanti ninyo, quanti data, malaki yung quanti samples. Pagdating sa quali, konti na lang. Possible yon. How to merge two types of data, yon ang kailangan nyong aralin. Kasi i-merge nyo ngayon. Sinasabi ko sa inyo kanina na dapat connected ang quanti sa quali. Yung iba kasi, nagiging challenge ito kasi hindi marunong mag-merge. Hindi marunong maghanap ng mga data kung ano yung mga i-explain. Dapat alam nyo kung ano yung mga i-explain natin. Binanggit ko na kanina, no? Kung ano yung mga dapat i-explain. Yung mga kakaiba na nakuha nyong data. No? How to deal with the situation in which quantitative and qualitative results contradict each other. Yun ang dapat nyong aralin kasi one of the challenges yan. Kapag nagkaroon ng contradicting results yung quanti and quali. Sabi ko kanina, pag nagkaroon ng contradicting quanti and quali, then you, what will you do again? You collect additional data until such time that you were able to explain the contradicting results in the quanti and quali data mo. Wag na yan. Okay, so I am done with convergent parallel designs. Any question about convergent parallel? Wala? Maliwanag? One design lang yon of mixed method. Another design of mixed method is what we call explanatory sequential design. Ito yung isa sa mga magaganda rin na mixed method. The purpose of this design is to use qualitative approach to explain quantitative results. When we say explaining the quantitative results, ito na yung sinasabi ko kanina, there are significant findings, non-significant, outliers, or surprising results, or to guide to form groups based on quantitative results. No? Yun ang explanatory sequential design. Yan yung purpose niya kung bakit natin ginagamit. So ito yung diagram. Kung kanina magkatapat ang quanti and quali, up and down, ngayon hindi. You do first a quantitative data collection and analysis. Phase 1. So may phase 1 ka. Kanina, ang convergent, uniphasic lang. Ibig sabihin, one phase lang. Pag sinabing phase 1, quantitative data collection and analysis ka muna. Tapos, lahat ng makikita mo na outliers or significant or surprising mula dun sa data mo, you will follow it up. This is now the point of interface. You will follow it up with qualitative data collection and analysis. As the term implies, you will explain significant, non-significant, outliers, or surprising data from the quantitative analysis mo. You will supply or you will further analyze using qualitative data collection and analysis before you do an interpretation. So ang tanong, ano ba yung outliers? Wait lang bigyan ko lang kayo ng idea kung ano yung outliers na yan. Sana naitabi ko pa yung aking pictures ng outliers. Saan ko ba nila? Wait lang hanapin ko lang. Para mas maintindihan yung yung outliers. Kasi yun ang tanong kanina na Mr. Nuki Siyempre, pag may tanong, dapat may sagot. Hindi pwedeng hindi sasagutin yung tanong. Lahat ng tanong ay may sagot. Kaya lang di ko makita yung picture ko. Wait lang saan ko ba pinasok yun? Lectures. Ayun, I gotcha. All right, wait lang Dapat nandito ka sa Ay, bakit naging PowerPoint? Ito pala dapat. Wala. Wait lang po give me some time. Hinahanap ko lang yung picture ko ng outliers. Bale. Yun. Kita na kita. Zoom. Alright, hindi ko kasi makita yung aking outlier sa laptop ko. Pero ito, nag-Google na lang ako. Can you see may Google projection?
Yes po.
Alright. Kung makikita nyo, yung outliers na yan, ayan siya. After tabulating, for example, the result, itong kulay blue na yan, look at the graph. So you need to come up with the bar graph because you need to tabulate the results or the answers of the respondents. For example, nag-create ka ng 5-point Likert scale. Tapos halimbawa, sample lang karamihan ng sagot ay between 2 to 4. Parang nasa gitna, 2 to 4. Tapos halimbawa, dito sa bandang dulo, merong mga ilang piraso na sumagot ng 1, no? Further right, no? And kung further right yan, positive yan. Bawa 5, napakataas. Basta yung mga extreme ang sagot, either sobrang taas or sobrang baba. Or para masabi niyong outliers, kaya siya outliers kasi they fall outside the standard bell-shaped curve ng tabulation. So ito siya, nandito siya. So kung mapapansin nyo, ilang piraso lang yan. So hindi lahat magiging part ng respondents niyo ng qualitative. Kung sino lang yung merong mabababang sagot, yung kakaiba yung sagot kapag binar graph ninyo. Kaya importante, pag gumawa kayo ng sequential explanatory, merong bar graphs presentation para meron kayong justification why this group of key informants became part of your respondents. No? Ito ang tinatawag Mr. Ismail Nuki na outliers or what we call surprising kasi halos lahat sila magkakadikit dito pero surprisingly merong nahiwalay. Or what we call naging significant siya kasi nandito siya sa bandang nadulo siya. Parang ganon. Kaya importante sa mixed method, sequential explanatory research design, na magkakaroon muna kayo ng quantitative data collection and analysis. Pag sinabing analysis, nag-tabulate na kayo ng data nun. Para makita nyo na yung outliers. Hindi katulad ng convergent, sabay kayong nagde-data gathering sa convergent. Ito hindi. Magko-quanti data collection and analysis muna kayo, you tabulate them, and then based on the data collected, hahanap kayo ng significant, non-significant, outliers, or surprising result. Ito, outliers ang tawag dito. So any question about outliers? Maliwanag po ba? Maliwanag na? Alright. O sige. Maraming salamat naman kung maliwanag na. So we will now proceed with my PowerPoint. So now, during quantitative data collection, phase 1, para kang bumuo na ng isang quanti paper. Ang kaibahan lang, habang binubuo mo yung quanti paper mo, pwede ka na mag-tabulate dito, dapat gagawa ka rin ng graph, bar graph. Kasi sa bar graph na yon, maipapakita mo yung outliers so that you will have a reason to follow up. To follow it up using qualitative data collection and analysis. So yung respondent o yung key informants mo ng qualitative are the outliers of the quantitative data collection and analysis. And then after qualitative data collection, as I've mentioned, ito ay gagawa ka ng mga guided interview questions, open-ended questions, again, that are supporting the quantitative, and then sample size, or key informants will be taken from the sample size of your quantitative. And then after the data collection of your qualitative data, that's the time that you make interpretation this time. Magkakaroon ka na ng interpretation. All right? So that is the beauty of explanatory sequential design. So pwede nyo rin gamitin ito na halimbawa purely quanti lang muna kayo, tapos bigla nakita nyo nagkaroon ng outliers, ay pwede nyo nang ituloy ng mixed method or explanatory sequential design. O para magkaroon kayo ng mga sample, ayan, meron mga published paper, pwede nyong i-picturean para ma-visit nyo yung title. Available yan sa Google Scholar. Alright? Ayan, mga sample, explanatory, sequential design. Yung mga principles kanina, parehas lang. Mahaba lang kanina yung discussion natin ng principles kasi those principles of mixed method are the same, are applicable to all the designs under mixed method. No? So in mixed method question, in what ways do the qualitative data help explain the quantitative results? Kaya wag na kayo masyadong magpakalalim sa English, napakadaling intindihin ng explanatory sequential. It is sequence in nature and the qualitative data should be able to explain the qualitative data. Kaya ang tanong, in what ways do the qualitative data help explain the quantitative result? Your quality data should be able to further explain, should be able to help you in explaining the surprising quantitative data. Kasi minsan yung mga quanti results, kung nasa masteral kayo, di ba? Para magugulat ka, wow, bakit kaya biglang naging ganito yung result? Ang tendency natin dati, gumagawa tayo ng sarili nating explanation. Kung bakit minsan magugulat ka. Ang naging result parang yung innovative teaching strategies ay hindi nagugustuhan ng mga estudyante or nagdulot pa ng pagbaba ng performance ng mga estudyante. That's surprising. The teacher, for example, is performing, naging outstanding Metrobank awardee pa, no? Naging outstanding teacher pa, 2020 outstanding teacher. Pero yung mga estudyante, yung performance ang bababa. Oh, that's a surprising result or data. So that can be explained by the design explanatory sequential design. Kasi baka mamaya pala ang ginamit na parameter ng award giving body ay degree, seminars attended, no? Or evaluation ng head, ng principal, pero hindi pala pinag-i-evaluate yung mga estudyante. Kaya mukhang outstanding yung teacher, pero sa actual teaching pala, yung mga estudyante hindi naman natututo. Because take note, our knowledge, our cognitive, our intelligence, our ability to finish the degree, the doctoral or masteral degree, is not an assurance that we are better in explaining the lessons to the students. No? Degree, professional upliftment is one way to improve ourselves and one way to determine our qualification. But explaining the difficult topics to the students is another thing. No? Kaya hindi lahat ng may PhD, hindi lahat na may MA magagaling magturo. I have to be honest with you. Kasi magkaibang aspeto ng buhay yon. Pwedeng may degree ka, pero you cannot explain well. You cannot deliver the lesson well. Kaya magugulat ka minsan, yung teacher ay ang taas ng rating, naging outstanding pa. Pero yung mga estudyante nagbabagsakan at di siya gusto ng mga estudyante. At walang natututunan ng mga estudyante. Yun pala, hindi na consider yung parameter na na performance ng estudyante. Parang ganon. Kaya ang tanong dito, in what ways do qualitative data help explain the quantitative results? And that is about explanatory sequential. So, hindi ko natin i-discuss ng detail kasi based dito, maliwanag naman ang gagawin. No? And pag binasa nyo naman itong mga key points na yan, yun din yun. Ganon din yun. No? Ganon din yun. So ang gagawin ko siguro, i-review nyo na lang ito para ma-browse nyo yung mga pinag-usapan natin. But I would like to proceed now to another design, the last but not the least design is of course exploratory sequential design. This is also referred to as instrument development design. Ito yung sinasabi ko kanina na you can come up with a questionnaire using a mixed method. Kasi mauuna yung qualitative bago ka makapag-come up ng quantitative. Ang tawag dito, exploratory sequential design. The purpose of this design is to generalize qualitative findings to a larger sample. No? So kung gusto nyong tumingin ng mga sample exploratory sequential design, ito yung mga reference for instrument design. Ito yung mga study na nakabuo ng instrument out of exploratory sequential design. Ibig sabihin pala, bottom line, if you would like to develop your own instrument, then you are going to use a mixed method utilizing specifically the exploratory sequential design. And these are some of the examples of the designs, of the papers that were published that used exploratory sequential design. Ayan ang sinasabi ko sa inyo kanina, nagkabaligtad lang ang explanatory tsaka exploratory. Kung ang kanina explanatory, nauna ang quanti, sa exploratory, nauna ang quali. You will build those qualitative data, that is the point of interface, and then you will do a quantitative data collection. Later on, magkakaroon ka ng interpretation, and then you can come up with your own instrument based on the qualitative data collection. Halimbawa, i-apply natin sa, pag nagbibigay ako ng example, gusto ko current, no, para mas nakaka-relate tayong lahat. Halimbawa, pwede kayo mag-interview. Ang topic mo, for example, is how to become an effective teacher during the pandemic. Wag na effective teacher. Sige, parang ano bang tawag sa mga parents ngayon? Parang parent-teacher. How to become an effective parent-teacher during the pandemic. So mag-i-interview ka ngayon. Ibig sabihin, ang mga respondents mo rito ay mga estudyante at saka mga parents na gumaganap na teacher. And then estudyante na syempre hindi mga grade 1 yan, hindi mga nursery kasi hindi pa yan makakasagot. Siguro mga nasa higher level na yan, mga siguro senior high. No? Kasi mas may maturity na yan eh. And then you will interview them on how to become an effective parent-teacher at home. So sila ngayon ang magbibigay na mga sasabihin nila na para mas maging maganda, dapat ganito yung parent-teacher namin. Dapat sila din ay tapos sa ganitong pag-aaral. Dapat yung parent-teacher namin marunong sa paggamit ng module. Dapat ang parent-teacher namin ay marunong sa paggamit ng blended learning approach ng technology. Dapat yung parent-teacher namin mahaba yung pasensya. Dapat yung parent-teacher namin ay ganito, ganyan, etc. etc. Yung lahat ng sasabihin nila, gagawa rin kayo ng theme. Ano yung mga theme? Halimbawa, lumabas doon about sa paggamit ng technology. Sasabihin mo rin na technological parent-teacher attitude or qualification. Tapos halimbawa, ilalagay mo roon yung lahat tungkol sa paggamit ng technology at home. O pangalawa, for example, may mga nagsabi na ang parents nila ay dapat ay mahaba ang pasensya, ang parents nila ay dapat hindi sila masyadong pinapagalitan, hindi sila pinapalo pag di nakukuha yung tamang sagot, yung mga ganon. So ang scene na lumalabas doon is parang, how do you call it, Sir Samuel? Kapag mga ganong mga sagot na, ano kayang scene ang pwedeng mag-emerge doon? Tungkol doon sa mga ganong karakteristik ng parent. Parents attributes ba ang tawag doon? Parents attitude o parents resilience? Resilience? O ano ba? Ayun, I'm sorry.
Pwede. Pwede yung sinasabi niyo po. Pwede po.
O pwede. No? Parents, let's say parents characteristics. No? So lahat ng characteristics na binanggit ng respondents, ilalagay niyo siya doon. And so on and so forth, marami pa yan. O, makakagawa kayo ngayon ng isang instrument related to being an effective parent-teacher characteristics or parent-teacher attributes. Doon kayo ngayon gagawa ng quantitative data collection and analysis and interpretation. Yun ang maganda sa exploratory sequential. Binaligtad siya. Kung kanina, nauna kang nag-data gathering using standardized instrument, tas bago ka nag-qualipart, ngayon hindi. Qualipart ka muna, tapos saka gagawa ngayon ng questionnaire mo. Nagagamitin mo ngayon na pang data gathering. Nakuha niyo po ba yon? Kaya qualitative muna, and then gagawa kayo ng questionnaire, at saka from the questionnaire na nabuo ninyo based sa data, saka kayo ngayon magla-Likert scaling, papasagutan ninyo. So nauna ang quali, pangalawa ang quanti. Pero yung quanti part ninyo, yung instrument na na-develop ninyo, galing sa quali. Tapos sa kanya kayo ngayon magi-interpret. Sa kanya ngayon, nahanapin na ulit yung differences ng sagot nila sa quali and quanti. Nakuha niyo po ba yun? Yun ang mga meaning ng exploratory sequential DNA, no? Instrument design, explore, grounded theory, kasi you will be generalizing qualitative result. Ibig sabihin ng grounded theory, Tagalogin natin, that the theory or the construct muna, wag theory, the constructs that you will be developing later on or the themes that will be emerging later on will be coming from the ground. Ang sabihin ground natin, yung mismong key informants. Kaya sa pagsiselect ng key informants, meron kang inclusion criteria. Pag sinabi kong teacher-parent characteristics, dapat maghahanap ka ng mga parents na nag-a-act as teacher at home. Hindi pwede yung parent na mayroong yaya or mayroong ginagamit na mayroong tawag dito? Ano yung binabayaran natin sa bahay kapag tutor.
Tutor.
Oo, dapat teacher-parent talaga. Hands-on yung teacher. Yung parent sa pagiging teacher. Kaya qualitative yan, konti lang yan. Karamihan ngayon sa mga, lalo kung ang respondent mo ay galing sa private, karamihan sa mga parent ay dahil sobrang busy niyan, nag-hire ng tutor yan. Diba? Kasi hindi kakayanin ng parents who are working na sila pa yung gagawa ng mga activities ng mga bata. Meron man tulong yan, mag-hands-on yan, konting-konti, pero not most of the time. Not most of the time. No? Mga konting panahon lang yan, mga siguro dalawang beses ang linggo pag walang work, parang gano'n. Pero most of the time, tutor ang nag-a-attend dyan. So, yun, grounded theory ang tawag doon. Kaya ang key informants, lahat ng ito ay lahat ng quali part ng mix ay merong inclusion criteria. Huwag niyong kalilimutan yun sa methodology. So reasons for using this design. Bakit kayo gagamit ng exploratory sequential? Instruments are not available. Gagawa ka ng instruments. The variables are not known. Ibig sabihin, wala ka pang nadidevelop na constructs. Yung mga bago ngayon, bawa, new normal leadership style, pandemic study habits, ganon. COVID-19 attitudes and behavior. Parang ganon. Yung mga bago. No? There's no theory or model as a guide yet. So pwede mong gawa ng exploratory sequential design. So katulad kanina, two phases din siya, two-phase design. Ang kaibahan lang, mauuna yung quali bago quanti. No? So ang tanong dito sa mixed design na exploratory, in what ways do the quantitative results generalize the qualitative? Kasi later on, magge-generalize ka, no? Based on the quantitative. Kanina, magge-generalize ka based on the qualitative. Magkabaligtad siya. Basta baligtad ang approach ng exploratory. O, ganun din ang procedure, babaligtarin mo lang din yan. Si Sir Junel, sanay na sanay dyan, pumapayag sa baligtaran yan. Kaya alam na alam niya yan, no? Alright, so okay na yan. Kasi iba dyan, paulit-ulit lang din naman ang procedure. So these are now the exploratory sequential design steps. Determine what you want to measure first, generating an item pool, no? Ibig sabihin ng item, mga questions. Determine the format for items. Expert review of initial item pool. Ito yung sinasabi ko sa inyong validation of your questions. Lahat ng questions natin, ipapa-validate natin. Pag sinabi nating items, questions ito, guide questions. And then, expert review, sinabi ko na kanina, add social desirability items, pilot test and item analysis if possible, administer instrument to a larger. Itong pilot testing, kapag nakagawa ka na ng questionnaire mo, no? Yung, di ba, tapos ka na ng qualitative. Ito yung qualitative part. Nakabuo ka na ng questionnaire after ng qualitative part mo. Ipa-pilot test mo yung quantitative result and item analysis. And then administer the instrument to a larger sample size. Kabaliktaran nung kanina. Sa explanatory sequential, nag-administer ka muna sa large sample size. No? Ngayon, nag-quali ka muna sa smaller sample size bago ka nag-develop ng questionnaire, nagpa-validate, at nag-administer ka sa larger sample size, and then nag-evaluate ka ng items, and then you revise the instrument when necessary. Kaya ito, ang ending mo nito is an instrument that should develop based on your data gathering. Kaya ito, magandang gawin din to. Bakit? Sa panahon ngayon, maraming topics na wala pang instrument. New normal leadership style, wala pa niyan. COVID-19 study habits of the student, wala pa niyan. Parent-teacher characteristics, wala pa niyan. Yung mga nangyayari ngayon na hindi pa natin na-experience dati. Technology-based leadership style, wala pa niyan. Kahit alam ko ang DepEd, noon pa may ICT vision na yan, pero hindi pa yan nangyayari talaga noon. Di ba, Madam Principal? May ICT vision na yan, pero hindi talaga fully implemented noon. Ngayon lang parang coping up ang lahat. Kaya tinan nyo ang nangyari ngayon. Even DepEd, I am sorry to say, kahit marinig to ng DepEd, kahit ako ay mabash, kasi ipapublish ko to next time, itong video na to. Even DepEd is not yet ready. Kaya tinan nyo, tinitingnan ng DepEd ngayon, yung magkaroon ulit ng face-to-face. Kasi talagang hindi ready ang DepEd sa mga online or blended. Kaya tinan nyo, ang balita ngayon, sabi ni Director Secretary Briones, magkakaroon ng selected face-to-face implementation na sa mga low-risk areas. Tama ba, Madam Principal? Yun ang balita ngayon. Kasi nga, bakit ilo-launch yun? Kasi until now, hindi nga makakope doon sa ICT. Kaya yun ang nangyayari ngayon. Yan ang maganda mga pag-aralan. Mag-identify kayo ng mga topics na hindi pa na-explore. And pwedeng i-explore dito sa exploratory sequential design. Doon pumapasok ang exploratory sequential design. Alright? Tapos pwede nyo rin pag-aralan. Sinasabi ni Senator Cynthia Villar na bakit pa tayo nagre-research. Research siya, matalino naman daw siya. Hindi ro kailangan ng research. Tingnan natin yung kung paano ang approach ng research ng mga senators katulad ni Villar. Parang the qualities of parang the research capability of senators. Pwede dyan ng exploratory. Kasi ilan lang ng senators, 12 lang naman yata, 24, parang gano'n. So that's what you call exploratory sequential design. I will not discuss this anymore kasi na-explain ko na ng mabuti. And then, yun na lang muna, yung tatlo na lang muna kasi yun ang mga pinaka-importante at saka commonly used method in doing a mixed method research. So I think I am done. I will be asking everyone to open their camera, please, para makita ko ang reaction ninyo dito sa aking gallery view. Madam Mendoza, tapos ka na magpalinis ng kuko? Hindi pa rin?
Tapos na.
Ay, tapos na.
Tapos na po.
Ano, hindi pa. Ano naman, rebound naman ang pinapagawa mo siguro ngayon.
Makain po.
Mukhang nag-me time ka, madam. Mukhang preparation yun para sa Christmas party nyo. So, with the discussions that we have right now, mixed method, I'd like to solicit questions from the group kung merong clarifications. And I'd like to know whether this is the first time that you learn these approaches and whether I was able to clearly explain the different steps in doing those 3 mixed method research designs. 3 pa lang yon, marami pang iba, pero yung 3 na yon ang pinaka-useful at pinaka-applicable sa mga topics na narinig ko sa inyo. Kaya ako na-stimulate na mag-discuss ng ganong topics kasi yung mga pinresent nyo ng mga nakaraan, parang I am tempted to suggest that you review, that you reflect whether the 3 mixed method research designs can be applied in your proposed research. No? I'm tempted to suggest that kasi madali naman siya eh. Something new lang. Lalabas lang kayo ng comfort zone ninyo kasi sanay kayo sa quanti, no? Lalabas lang kayo ng comfort zone ninyo kasi bago. I'd like to think sa iba, bago. Sabi kanina, nag-survey ako, wala pa si Sir Algie. Lahat sa kanila ay medyo bago pa ang mixed method. Ang medyo familiar lang si Sir Jonel. So Sir Jonel, nagbago ba ang sagot mo ngayon? Pag tinanong kita, bago ba sa'yo ang mixed method? Or luma na, dati mo nang alam?
Bago po, Doc. Pwede po palang gumawa ng tool using mixed method. Ang kala ko lang po dapat may prepared tool na po kayo before conducting mixed method.
Ayun. So I'm happy may bago ako na-contribute kay Sir Jonel. Sa lahat kanina, Sir Algie, ang sabi nila, this is new. So I expected today na they got something, they got a new information from our discussion. How about you, Sir Algie? Nakaabot ka ba sa ating discussion?
Yes po.
Nabutan mo yung convergent?
Opo. I once did research po using convergent parallel, but still, I learned new ideas from you, Doc. Actually, Doc Alvin, I sent a chat na to ask a question. Okay. Pero po, it was answered din po during the discussion. Pero I will still ask po, just to be emphasized. Opo, paano po pumili ng respondents for quantity data collection after the QALY? So it was answered po na paramihin lang po namin yung mga
larger sample size pa din.
Opo. Ito na lang po din, meron po akong new question. Ano po yung ibig sabihin ng social reliability doon po sa part na add social reliability items?
Pag sinabing add social reliability, either you conduct a pilot testing, no? Ibig sabihin, the contents of the instrument are acceptable in terms of terms, the terms can easily be understood by the norm, ibig sabihin by the respondent. Second, it can be done by doing a content validation procedure, which means to say that the contents of the newly developed instruments are acceptable both by the possible respondents and the experts in the field. Yun ang ating social explanation doon.
Thank you very much po, Dean.
Okay, thank you then. Any more clarification? Kasi parang 12 na sa clock ko. Parang napahaba yata ang discussion ko. Sabi ko, saglit lang ako magdi-discuss. Napadaldal yata ako. Any more question? Any more clarifications? As I've mentioned, you are enrolled in 3 subjects, but these 3 subjects will be research-based and will only require you 1 publishable research paper revolving around educational management. All right? Take note tungkol dapat sa educational management ang topic ninyo because you are currently enrolled in Doctor of Education, major in educational management. And as early as now, para sa kaalaman ng lahat na ngayon lang dumating, ginagawa ko kayong research-based. I mean, I am already exposing you. Kasi doctoral na to eh. I do not want you to have class reporting, parang gano'n, yung mga separation, division of topics, tapos magre-reporting lang. Ayoko ng gano'n kasi graduate school ito. I'd like you to start learning and mastering, hindi lang learning, mastering every parts, no, every designs of research. Ngayon, 3 na alam ninyo, quanti, quali, and mix. Pero ang nakikita kong weakness pa ninyo, na parang room for improvement ninyo, ay the use of mixed method and qualitative. No? Although, alam ko naman na nagkaroon naman na discussion si Dr. Ray noon pa, pero ina-amplify ko lang ngayon. Ina-amplify ko yung mga prior discussions na nasa YouTube channel natin. Pero ang gusto ko malaman, whether naintindihan nyo yung ating naging discussion ngayon. Clear po ba?
Yes po, definitely, Doc. Napakalinaw po ng discussion.
Salamat. Sir Algie, balikan mo na lang siguro yung video since you came a little bit, parang 10 minutes ahead, naging ahead kami sa'yo. Meron akong mga diniscuss doon na principles in using mixed method, mga considerations why mixed method has to be used, no? All right. So I'm happy that you learned something. Yung thumbs up na yan, that would mean you learned something from our discussion. Unless there are questions, meron pa ba? Kasi I already consumed the 2 hours in 10 to 12 natin. Ibig sabihin yung magpipresent ngayon, I'm very sorry. Hindi ko muna kayo mapapag-present ngayon. Nakuha ko yung time ninyo, nakain ko because of my discussion. Kasi ang point ko, baka yung mga future presenters ay based on our discussion, baka ma-consider itong mixed method. At yung mga nakapag-present na, baka rin ma-consider pa yung inyong design based on the 3 mixed method research designs that I presented. You can select any of the 3, and then you can of course modify if you want. Just inform me in our next meeting. And with the readings that I provided you, kanina yung mga finlash ko, those are readings. Baka kala nyo hindi tayo palagi nagmi-meet ay wala tayong activity. Pag hindi ko kayo mini-meet, ibig sabihin meron ako mga pinapagawa sa inyo. I'm giving you more time to read. Kanina, marami ako readings na binigay, 3 para sa convergent, sa explanatory and exploratory sequential designs. Kindly browse samples of research, published research that utilize those 3 designs para medyo aware na kayo. Ano po? Any more clarifications po? Kasi this month of December, we need to finalize your proposal. We need to finalize that. Kasi para sa Christmas break, makapag-data gathering na kayo. Online naman ang data gathering, At January, gagawa na kayo ng results and discussion. We started October, November, December, January. Baka January mag-end tayo. So by January, ay dapat meron ng results and discussion presentation. So, pardon me, baka before mag-New Year, mga 28, 29, 30, invite ko kayo ulit for another Zoom discussion. I will teach you how to write results and discussion. Kasi inaalaw ko na kayo na mag-data gathering. Now, I encountered problem like the problem of Miss Mendoza that before she will be permitted to gather data, she needs to ask ethical clearance from the school, no? And I asked the Dean of DABSU, sabi niya, she is giving me the approval that I will sign whatever ethical forms or clearance that you will be needing. That meaning to say that your paper was reviewed and ethically acceptable, and kung kailangan ng pirma, I will sign in behalf of DABSU. Kasi ang point niya, wala man na form pa na formally, kasi pag ganito yan, kapag gusto nyo talaga ng ethical review committee, iniiwas ko kayo sa gastos mag-undergo kayo ng another panel of presentation and discussion, and this is what we call ethics review committee, and may bayad po yung pagpapa-ethics review. So iniiwas ko na kayo sa gastos. Binigyan na lang ako ng approval ni Dr. Dali Kiambao, the Dean of DABSU, na kapag daw na-approve ko na yung proposed paper ninyo, pirmahan ko na lang whatever form you will be needing, kahit yung ethical clearance form, pwede kayong gumawa ng template, and pwede kong pirmahan. Tapos yun ang ipipresent nyo na proof na kayo ay nagkaroon ng ethical review. Kasi sabi niya sa akin, ikaw din naman, marunong ka rin naman sa ethics review. Sabi sa akin, ako pa nga raw nagtuturo sa kanila ng ethics review. Pag na-criticize mo na yan, parang kasi ang DABSU, ako yung ini-involve nila sa mga ethics review. So essentially, pag pinadaan nyo sa DABSU yun, ako rin magiging part of the committee. Kasi pagbabayarin pa kayo, may certain payment kasi yung ethics review. And sayang din yung pampagupit din ng kuko yun, pampariban din ng buhok yun. So, para makatipid na kayo, dalungan nyo na lang ako maghanap ng, kasi sa ngayon, gumagawa pa kami ng, pwede rin, magpa-check kayo ng format ng ethical clearance kung merong ginagamit ang DepEd na form or template ay pwede kong pirmahan kung gumagamit ang DepEd nun. Pero sa mga respondents naman na hindi kailangan ng ethical review, so hindi nyo kailangan magpapirma nun. Siguro sa area lang nila Miss Mendoza, pero meron mga division hindi naman nagre-require pa. Ang kailangan lang, approval lang, for example, ng advisor, ng dean, etc. etc. Parang communication letter lang. But I am serious when I say that by January, your output will be an IMRAD format research paper for the 3 subjects that you enrolled. And the next trimester, pa nag-enroll kayo, ang pag-uusapan natin, aside from the continuation of the 3 subjects that you enroll, pag-uusapan natin is how to publish a research paper in international journals. Kung ngayon, gumagawa pa lang kayo, next semester, tuturuan ko kayo kung paano maka-penetrate sa mga journal publications. Yes, Ms. Mendoza, you are raising your hand. You're allowed to speak.
Thank you po, Doc. Okay na po, na-address na po yung dapat kong itatanong.
Ano ba dapat itatanong mo?
Yung nga po, sir, yung kailangan po namin na documents para po makapag data gathering po kami.
Alright. Okay, thank you.
Thank you po.
Sagot ko na pala. Alright. So magkakaroon tayo na next meeting kasi dapat ngayong December before magpasko lahat nakapag-proposal defense. So ang hindi pa nakapag-proposal presentation ay si Sir Samuel, si Ma'am Julian, si Sir Lester, tsaka si Sir Jonel. The rest, modification na lang. Next meeting, sabihin nyo sa akin kung meron kayo ma-modify. No? Kung wala na kayo ma-modify, pwede na kayo mag-data gathering, maghingi ng aking digital signature. Meron na pala, meron na akong digital signature. By the way, Sir Lester and Sir Jonel, meron GC, ang EDD. Paano na lang? Sino ba may hawak nun? Sir Algie, pa-add na lang sa kanila, please. Kasi alam ko, yes, hindi lang kayo 10 eh. Alam ko, more than 10 kayo. Sa listahan ko, 20 eh. Meron lang ibang hindi nakaka-attend, nag-asynchronous. Siguro makikiusap ako kay Sir Algie na ibibigay ko yung mga pangalan ng mga ibang naka-enroll. Baka pwedeng paki-add sa GC so that they can catch up also.
Sure po, Doc Alvin.
Maraming salamat.
Glad to help po.
Maraming salamat. Meron bang tanong? So since bakasyon na, ibig sabihin, kahit weekdays pwede tayo mag-meet. Tama ba? Kasi bakasyon na eh. Ano na, Monday is 21. Bakasyon na yan. So ang plano ko, before magpasko, matapos ang lahat ng presentation ng proposal, para after Christmas, makapag-start na kayo ng data gathering, para sa January, tuturuan ko na kayo on how to make sense of your data and how to write results and discussion the scientific way. Okay lang po ba yon? Alright. Sige. Meron pa po bang clarification? Okay. Thank you for the thumbs up. Meron pa po bang clarification? Sir Sem, kumusta ang Tagaytay? Nasa Tagaytay ka ba?
Sinuot ko lang po ito, sir. From Tagaytay.
Alam ko, nasa Japan ka eh. Kaya nagulat ako na Tagaytay t-shirt ka eh. Alright, so kung wala nang tanong, it's already 12 in my clock. 12:18, alam ko gutom na kayo. At gutom na rin ako. Hindi pa ako nag-breakfast. So kung wala na kayong tanong, I hope you learn. Thank you. Added na si Doc Jonel. I hope you learn. Sa 24 pa ang bakasyon ni Sir Sem. O sige. Sige. Basta magpo-post ako sa GC. Actually, pwede naman, if you're available night time, mga 6 or 7, pwede rin naman ng ganun kung busy kayo na during the day. No? So, parang ganun. Ano naman, mga 1 to 2 hours lang naman. Alright? So, if there are no more questions sa ating mga future doctors, ay maraming salamat sa inyong pakikinig. And I hope you learn something from our discussion. Kahit very traditional ang naging approach ko, naging teacher-centered ako ngayon. Ako rin nagsalita. Because I think I need to explain everything to you para mas malinaw. Kasi gumagawa kayo ng research eh. Kailangan ako muna yung magdi-discuss. Pero magiging student center dito pag kayo naman na nag-present ng inyong mga outputs. And as early as today, naghahanap na ako ng mga journal management na pwede nyong pag-publishan ng inyong mga research outputs. And I'm happy to tell you na yung master rate paper ni Mr. Samuel ay na-accept na. Kahapon lang dumating yung acceptance letter. Nagpatulong siya na maghanap ng journal management. Kasi yung thesis paper niya ng masteral, pwede nyo i-convert ng IMRAD yun eh. So yun, napa-accept na namin naging co-author ako. At kahapon lang dumating, Mr. Samuel, ang good news sa'yo, yung acceptance to the publication to an international journal.
Thank you so much, Doc.
No problem. So ganun ang gagawin natin. Puro writing for publication and publishing our research paper. Kasi that's the trend right now, publication. Kahit sa DepEd, di ba? Hinahanapan na rin kayo ng publication. Yun.
Yes po, sir.
Makakatulong din yan, yung mga papers ninyo. Alright? So kung yung paper ninyo na nasa chapters 1 to 5 at hindi pa naka-IMRAD, kung marunong na kayo mag-IMRAD, it's your perfect time na ma-IMRAD na, no? For publication. Ang may tutulong ko lamang ay of course checking, pero yung ako yung magko-convert baka hindi ko kayanin. Marami akong ginagawa. And siguro may tutulong ko yung paghahanap ng journal management kung saan pwede i-publish yung research paper. Pero yung publication fee sa inyo yun. Ipapadala ko yung email ng publication management para dun sa publication fee. Yun na lang ang paghahanda ninyo kasi may publication fee siya. Alright? So kung wala nang tanong, I hope na maliwanagan lahat, wala na tanong, and hope to see you again. Magpo-post na lang ako sa ating GC or FB page. Dalawa na nga yung ating FB page na, meron pa tayong GC para doon sa ating mga further announcement, no? Have a good lunch. Bye-bye everyone.
Thank you so much po.
Nagano na ba kayo?
Thank you po, Doc.
Nag-attendance na ba kayo? Nag-picture na ba kayo ng gallery view para sa attendance?
Yes po.
Sir Algie, magpakita ka muna kasi magpipicture daw ng kompleto ang grupo. Sige. Ready? 1, 2. All right. Okay, sige. Bye-bye. Have a good lunch, everyone.
Thank you po. Thank you, sir.
Okay na yan.